Welcome to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's Major League Baseball betting podcast. I'm Mike Calabrese, joined today by Derek Carty for a quick look at the Friday slate here in the Bigs. This is going to be my last Friday show of the year. They're sending me to the bullpen after Monday's show so I can focus on the college football season. Please swing on over to the Big Bets on Campus podcast throughout the fall. You can check out all the work that Stuckey, Colin Wilson, Duck, and myself are getting into, covering all 136 FBS teams, even some FCS plays as well. They may have me back for some high leverage innings here on Payoff Pitch during playoff season. I know that this becomes a daily show, so this may not be the last time you hear from me, but at least for this particular Friday episode with Derek Carty, this is going to be our last ride of the season. And when I look at your card, Derek, I'm already smiling ear to ear because we got some props for some players who are due for some hits, for some walks, for some things that I'm scratching my head a little bit. You're the expert. You can walk me through it and why it's a sharp play and why there's so much value. All right, let's hop into your best bet here for Friday. Weston Wilson not to get a hit in the Phillies against Nationals, about even money, minus 105 as always. Shop around for the best number there. 5-game hitting streak for Wilson. He's raised his average from sub Mendoza all the way up to 250, but you're getting off of the Wilson Express here, fading him against Mackenzie Gore and this Nats bullpen. Talk me through this and why this is the right time for somebody who ostensibly has been hot at the dish to go ahead and fade him.
We see it time and again where guys who are on a hot streak tend to get, the market tends to overreact. So if you're pricing it based on that, you're not pricing it correctly, in my opinion. He's hitting 250, but you look at his underlying skills, you look at all the projections on Fangraphs, including the BAT-X, he's like a 220 hitter. So he is not a guy who's going to get a lot of hits to begin with. He's facing a really good pitcher in Mackenzie Gore, one of the best pitchers umpires in all of baseball in this game. He hits at the bottom of the lineup, 9th. And when he does play, he has an extremely high chance of getting pinch hit for. The bat gives him a 69% chance of getting pinch hit for today. On average, he projects for fewer than 3 plate appearances. And so we're getting a really good number on a guy who, in theory, might only get 2 at-bats, probably, 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think that's the angle that everyone should consider when playing these, particularly when you're targeting someone who's not a superstar, not an everyday player, not guaranteed to go through 3 or 4 times in the lineup. That can be such a huge difference, only being at the dish 2 or 3 times as opposed to 4 or 5 times. And as you mentioned, Mackenzie Gore, being able to suppress bats, suppress situations where there's going to be high leverage, high stress at bats with him batting in the 9 hole. It seems to me everything that you're adding up here makes sense, particularly at the price currently at minus 105. Turning now to your favorite underdog, the Rockies over 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings. Their team total is sitting at plus 105. You said it on this very show a month ago. Hey, everybody, alert. The Rockies are no longer garbage. They're no longer the worst team in baseball. Now, granted, since then, they've lost by 14 and 19 runs this month, but this is not a play based on a full game or how their pitching staff comes into play. This is purely on their offense, and their offense has shown signs of life and, dare I say, pop against subpar pitching this month. Will it come down to that or the other angle of this, which is obviously Brandon Pfaadt? His ERA is now north of 5. He's given up 11 hits in 2 of his last 3 outings. Anything else that I missed on this play?
It's a combination of both of those. It also helps that it's almost 90 degrees with almost 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing out. It's Coors Field. The Rockies, I've said all year, especially their offense, are not as bad as people think. Their pitching is terrible, but their offense actually has, some juice in the bats. Over 2.5 runs at plus money in Coors Field against Brandon Pfaadt with great weather, and I'll take that.
Football season is here, folks, and we've got some huge improvements and updates coming to the award-winning Action Network app, which we're very excited to discuss in the weeks ahead. But to get the most out of the app, you still need to be an Action Pro subscriber. It's only with Action Pro you get real-time pick alerts from me and the entire Action Network team of experts. Plus, you can access pro projections powered by Sean Kerner and his predictive analytics team, plus a ton of other benefits. And right now, Action Network podcast listeners can save $20 off their annual price of Action Pro. Just go to actionnetwork.com/pro and use code payoff20. That's actionnetwork.com/pro and use code payoff20 for $20 off the annual price of Action Pro. Now, this is where things get a little interesting for the rest of your card. I feel like this comes every single Friday when we do this show. There'll be a prop or two where I look through the game log, I'm looking through Baseball Savant, I'm trying to find some stats or some advanced analytics to be able to back things up. And sometimes it just comes down to the value. But your first one here is Jeff McNeil over 0.5 walks at plus 350. So can he draw a walk for the Mets? He has 4 walks this entire month. Now, Luis Castillo for the M's has some significant control issues, at least earlier in the season. But now he's like, when you look at just the past couple weeks, he's only issued 1 walk in his last 4 starts across a combined 23 and a third innings. So is this a pure price play where it crossed over 3-1 and all of a sudden you think the market's out of whack? Or is there something under the hood in this matchup, specifically McNeil versus Castillo, that you think trends towards a play here?
It's more price than anything else. McNeil's a guy I've been betting to take a walk. He's been showing value for the last 3 weeks or so. I've taken him a few times. It's worked out well. It's just one of these things where he's not priced correctly. His walk rate this year is actually way up, which you would expect the market to overreact to, but it hasn't. Facing a guy in Castillo with some control issues, but really it just comes down to this projects as like a 30% winner, just kind of based on his skills and the basics of the matchup even. And they're giving us 350 on it.
Now we go for McNeil, and clearly you must have a guy who's been showing time and time again that he's able to cash in this market. Just kidding. Luke Keeschall over 0.5 walks here, plus 320. 0 walks this month in 39 at-bats. I'm trusting in you. This is a bit of a blind faith situation, because this one really, it has to come down to the pitcher he's facing. The ageless wonder, Charlie Morton, on the bump. He's had a 4-start stretch last month in which he walked 13 batters. So he's all over the zone. He can't really lock in. And on top of everything else, when you look at what they've been able to do with him in terms of keeping him on a long leash, hoping that he eats up innings, they don't really mind if he gets pounded. How much does Morton make up for the fact that Keeschall hasn't taken a walk in the entire month of August?
Morton helps, but also the very fact that Keeschall hasn't taken a walk in the month of August is kind of why I like this play. Like, you look at his numbers and it's like, oh, this guy doesn't walk. You look at his entire major league sample, which this year is 16 games and 65 plate appearances, and he really doesn't draw a lot of walks. But you look at what he's done in the minor leagues and you look at his prospect pedigree. This guy is a legitimate prospect. He has drawn tons of walks in the minor leagues. He has good plate discipline, just hasn't really showed it over a small major league sample yet. I'm expecting that to change going forward. This is a guy that we know can draw a walk. And so if he's being priced on his major league numbers where he hasn't been able to, I think that's a misprice.
All right, from a pair of batters looking to draw walks to a batter just looking to avoid a strikeout here, Troy Johnson for the Miami Marlins going up against Lucas Giolito, who is one of the most volatile pitchers from a prop perspective, really in the entire American League. He's been all over the map really for the past 2 months. You got gems, you got ugly outings, you have starts where he strikes out 6 or 7, and then he only struck out 1 in his last start. So this screams high variance. Now, Johnson, 6 strikeouts in his last 21 at-bats, but you're getting a pretty decent number here at plus 175. Anything else under the hood as it relates to him potentially getting pinch hit for later in the game, or the implications of the Sox going to the pen and replacing Giolito in the middle innings?
Yeah, all of that and then some. He's another guy where his major league numbers have come over a small sample. He struck out more than we would project him to based on a bigger sample using his minor league numbers. And he's facing Giolito, who his strikeout rate is way down this year. His stuff plus is the lowest it's ever been by a lot. Not the same guy he used to be. And we have some of that pinch hit risk here. Troy Johnston projects for a 70% pinch hit risk today. A lefty against Giolito, against a team that has 4 lefties in their pen that are fresh today. So good chance that we're going to see one of those lefties against Johnston. And that he's only going to get, 2 or 3 at-bats. That's the hope here.
We'll close out your card with a home run prop at north of 8-1. You can actually find it at plus 850 on the market. The White Sox young power hitter Colson Montgomery, solid power numbers for him this month. 5 bombs, slugging .571 in the month of August. Any other reason to be excited about this young player and what he can do in terms of taking a ball deep tonight?
Yeah, obviously a guy with power, with good skills, facing a pitcher in Noah Cameron who I'm just not buying. You look under the hood of his numbers and it just looks like he's having a lot of good luck so far. So you combine that with Montgomery's skills, with the price that we're being given, with the weather in this game, which is the hottest of the day with double-digit winds blowing out. This one sets up pretty well.
That'll do it for today's episode of Payoff Pitch. For Derek Carty, I'm Mike Calabrese. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to tail some of the bets that you heard from him in this episode, look for the quick slip description links, and you can go ahead and play those into your sportsbook of choice. If you want to go ahead and cut it up with other Major League Baseball betting enthusiasts, you can sign up for Action Network Discord. There's a link in the episode description as well. We'll be back on Monday with Sean Zerillo to discuss all of his best bets, favorite underdogs, and the rest of his card, as well as Grant Neefer's home run props. So we'll catch you then here at Payoff Pitch, Action Network's Major League Baseball betting podcast. And as always, best of luck with all your bets.